Coming up on this episode of On the Riser.
But then the other half of the internet
hated it.
Oh man, they ripped it apart.
And you want to say, I'd like to see you come out here and do this in the cold.
So the bands, listen to your set and give me the 3 songs that you are least embarrassed about. The ones that you've
expanded somebody's world.
Hopefully, and again, those are my passions, right? And so
that's
my
just
passion projects, that's what I do for fun. Awesome.
Like now. Hey,
yes.
How you doing? I'm Alex Martin with Moonshot Audiovisual,
and I'm Shahab Zargari.
Do you have a business or an identity you want to?
I have as many things. That's funny because a lot of my friends they laugh at me because I have so many different email addresses. But if you want the music email, then that's the music.
We can do. What do you want to focus on? We want to talk about music, film, anything. We can everything.
Shahab Zargari, the filmmaker.
Filmmaker. All right, we're going to call you a filmmaker then. Awesome.
That'll be my identity for the podcast.
I identify as a filmmaker.
It is funny though because I do dabble in a lot of different things.
Totally. I know you do. You're like one of the busiest people I know. So I really appreciate you taking the time to come today.
Yeah, of course.
Right on. We're going to be drinking the Woodford Reserve. One of these days, somebody, I keep saying this, is going to send me a case of something. Probably my mom. She's real nice. Say when.
All right. And when.
All right. There's plenty more where that came from. If you want some more, I'm going to have some myself, and we'll cork that and put it back on the floor. Perfect. So yeah, these mics are really good for the proximity effect. Get in there low
and I think with the whiskey it'll get even more like radio voice.
Cheers.
Cheers, man. It's delicious.
Oh, that is so good. I just got the podcast on Spotify, so I'm trying to think, do I need to do anything different for just audio only? And so just close up on the mic sounds of drinking. I thought would be real nice.
You have to think of those things, yeah.
Ooh, you know what I forgot to do?
Ooh.
Oh, love that. Thank you for putting a cork in your bottle, Woodford Reserve. So, Shahab, thank you for joining me on the Riser is the name of the show. I forgot to mention that. I don't know if I did or not. Hell, it's been a long day for me. I just did an event for CES, and I'm just wiped.
I bet.
I can talk about that at some point if you want, or not.
And then you're going to California.
I'm going to California tomorrow. I mean, this will come out in weeks from now, but I'm doing this thing for the Marine Mammal Care Center in San Bernardino. Cool. They invited me to come out and shoot something, and it's just like, it's a pro bono deal. They're going to pay some expenses, which is cool. I get to meet some cool people.
So by Thursday, you're going to be tired.
I'm going to be completely mapped out by Thursday. Be like, I might just stay in LA for a couple of days.
That's a good idea.
Hang out on the beach. Why not? Yeah. So long as they'll have me. But we didn't come here to talk about me. Let's talk about you. Shahab, filmmaker, musician, what don't you do? Is there anything?
I don't tap dance.
I don't do windows. Yeah. I don't, no juggling.
Although window washers in Las Vegas, let's give a round of applause to them because they're going up and down Mandalay Bay and Luxor, and I'm like,
it's gotta be a brutal job with the wind. Yeah. I used to live at Veer Towers in City Center briefly. I talked about this on a previous episode. And that building is kind of built at a weird angle, right? So their window washing stuff has to like cling to the side of the building on the sloped area. And it can't be fun. No. Definitely no. So thank you, window washers, for keeping our views nice and pretty. Although,
but how did we get on that subject? Why did I?
I said you don't do windows.
Oh yeah, I don't do windows.
I don't do bathrooms either. Sorry, the bathroom might be a little dirty. But let's start with the film. So I saw that you're doing something for. Can we talk about your sponsored project that you were recently working on, or something you're involved in? The name of a certain brown soda company.
We can talk about that.
Okay, cool. I just don't want to say.
I have some things coming up that I probably am not allowed to talk about.
I probably don't know about those.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
All right, let's get into it.
Just as a history, Coca-Cola and Regal Films, the theater chain. Yeah. I think it's been about 20 years. They've been doing this contest where film schools from around the country can submit as many scripts as they want. I mean, each student can submit multiple, however many the Department of Film wants
thousands of scripts.
No, they do. They get thousands of scripts.
Okay.
Then they whittle that down.
Oh my God, what a process.
To the top 5.
Oh, geez.
Now I guess the top 15.
No, that was too dramatic. The top 5.
The top 15 get to go to LA. They get to hang out. And then the top 5 get $15,000.
Wow.
For the students to shoot
to
shoot
their script
commercial.
Oh, a commercial. Okay.
I mean, and that's what the scripts are.
Okay, I got you. It's not like
Coca-Cola.
I got this dark fantasy about.
I mean, they could, but it's but in the end, it ends up in the Regal movie theater kind of.
So it's going to run before movies.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool.
And the draw is, these students get to work with Red cameras and Zeiss lenses.
So they hook them up with the equipment on top of the funding. Wow, that's great. Yeah.
And then this past year, so 2018 leading into 2019, it was the first time ever that UNLV got in.
Okay, so somebody
to the contest
from your script. Oh, you were participating.
One of the students,
but one of the students made it in.
One of the students got in.
Right,
and so it was the director-producer team.
Got in.
We got in finally. And then I got a call from the. One of the professors at UNLV, who coincidentally had won this award many years ago.
Wow, there you go. So
when she was in college, and
so experience with the process.
Came full circle.
That's not me. Is that you? Do you need to get that?
I don't have
that. Actually, that is me. I'm sorry about that. It might ding a few more times. I don't even know which computer that was.
It might have been me.
Ding every time a bell rings and Angel gets his wings. Yeah. Hello.
So
it's a drink bell. Okay.
And maybe I should rewind.
Sure. So the professor was in the
currently,
right.
And for the past couple of years, I've been working in the dean's office of the College of Fine Arts at UNLV.
Right.
And so a lot of what I do is the marketing, and marketing not in like a Coca-Cola sense,
sure,
but
promoting
talking
the
to students, talking to donors,
right.
talking to prospective students, right?
Sure.
Things of that nature.
Yeah.
Letting them see what is going on campus and the kinds of things the students are creating.
What the department has to offer, why they might want to come to. Yeah,
exactly.
Gotcha.
And so Brett Levner, a wonderful professor over in the Department of Film, she calls me and she says, hey, so we got in, but this is the first year that they have a second prize.
Okay.
Which is the Social Media Award.
Okay.
Would you mind helping us with that? And I said, yeah, of course. And,
sure,
I mean, it was part of my job to share it anyway.
Right.
And so I was like, yeah, that's fine. I'll help you out. Then came the 90-page Coca-Cola
the bromide
booklet. Okay.
Here's how you can use our brand.
This chapter's for the producers. This chapter's for the social media marketing. And I had to sign a 5-page contract as this social media campaign manager.
Pieces of your life are just draining out of you as you're reading this thing. Yeah.
It was crazy. It was literally months of work.
What do they call it now? The brand application guide or the?
No, that's exactly what it was.
Is that what it was?
That's
yeah.
Exactly
I remember those from back in my days in media.
And geared towards students, and
sure.
Yeah, that's how they do it. So
and you're like, okay, I got to read this and parse this whole thing out, and then I got to tell these kids what they can and can't do with the Coke brand. It's just for the social media part.
Yeah, okay. It was a pure dedication.
Right.
No, I'm sorry, delegation.
Delegation.
Yes. Everyone was delegated their role.
This
dedication, it was
beautiful.
Going out to Susie Lee.
The old Casey.
But
we could do the radio voice gag all night. I'm fine with that.
I think the more whiskey, the better.
Exactly.
But anyway, so from December until April,
right,
they were shooting, filming.
That's great.
How
many could they bring all the other students to be their crew and to help them out with it? That sounds amazing.
And
what
again,
a great project for
that
for
$15,000 goes a long way when that happens.
Especially when you've got students that are working on the project for you and they're all filling roles and they're moving around and you've got the equipment provided.
I want everyone to know that these students excelled at what they did.
Yeah.
So we had, when they were shooting on location at the theater, we had execs from Coca-Cola, execs from Regal there. And here comes News 3, NBC, and they come in. Is it NBC? Did I just mess something up?
I don't even know. No, I'm just saying.
But News 3 came and did a live segment
while your while your students are shooting. The news came,
And the Coca-Cola Regal Films gal, she was like,
This doesn't happen usually.
That's never happened in 20 years. They've shot it and they've broadcasted it later.
Sure, but the process has never been exposed live to the audience. Yeah.
Live,
and they must be thrilled. Well, they must be scared to death and thrilled. Here we are going live with our brand, and these kids are doing stuff, and we don't know. We can't control the message anymore.
Oh man.
But on the other side, this is like the kind of stuff that people can't pay money for. I mean, it's super, super valuable.
And to get that just getting the $15,000
return on their $15,000, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So then in April, I submitted my 40-page.
Oh my God! Here we go.
Report
Your
that
social
I had
media
to
plan.
turn in.
Right.
A plan, outcome,
Sure.
That kind of thing, which is available online for anyone who wants to
I
take a
want to
look
read
at
that.
it. You should. I mean, it
Sounds like it'd be
spells
very
out exactly how we won, because it was, impressions were definitely important, but it was also engagement and tracking that.
Yeah.
And so now that it's out and, people can read the PDF, I can spill the beans. So essentially what I did was they gave me a $500 stipend as social media manager. And they even went as far as to say, we think you should boost on Facebook. We think you should
you spent the whole $500 to boost on Facebook. Nah.
I was like, because you're going to read this report, I'm going to spend a little bit of it on that.
Sure.
But I said, how am I'm supposed to prove engagement.
Yeah.
Now, if, at the College of Fine Arts.
How do you prove that besides just
for
printing some
social
numbers?
media,
Yeah.
I don't have a Sprout Social or anything like that.
Right.
I am at the mercy of the Twitter, Facebook, Instagram insights, which aren't bad, but they drop off after 30 days. Sure. There's no
as opposed to something like a Social Blade or something like that, which can track engagement over time across multiple.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I didn't really have something like that. Yeah. So if I was calculating impressions, I was only privy to my information.
You need a way to
posts.
track that stuff on your end directly.
So one of
the forgive me for
no, that's exactly.
I'm going with you on this travel.
On the very first meeting that we had with the students and the professor and everything, I was thinking, and I said, okay, I just looked it up, and the commercials about like a genie and a lamp and the wishes kind of thing. So I said, the UNLV Rebels. Nobody has ever used #RebelsBigWish.
Wow. That seems like an obvious hashtag.
So no one's ever, it's been used 0 times.
Right.
Now I can get clean results.
Right. You're completely starting a whole new trackable.
Whether it's my posts or someone else's.
Right.
I'm going to have impressions on my own stuff, which might or might not include the hashtag, but everything with the hashtag.
Right. So you can see that across the board, no matter who's using it, where it is on what. Yeah, absolutely.
So I got, unbelievable numbers, unbelievable, and it was funny when after we won, Aviva from Coca-Cola, she called and she said, all right, I'm looking at your report, and there's one piece that I don't understand, and I'm going to make up the numbers right now. You can download the PDF for the real numbers. But
he didn't bring up this cheat sheet with the numbers.
Yeah. But she said, so you said there's 2 spots that say impressions.
Right.
Here it says 60,000, and here it says 360,000.
What's the difference?
Why is there 2 numbers? Right. And I said, well, this was what was spit out by Facebook, Instagram on all of my posts related to that hashtag.
Right. And this is what I tracked.
This is total of everyone, moms, sisters, Channel 8, NPR, whoever shared that hashtag.
And that's just the people that use the hashtag. So that's 6 times the number of impressions that your standard social media metrics were not tracking because it wasn't related to them specifically.
Right. And, take that how you will. Yeah. But for this contest, I needed those impressions.
Oh, no doubt.
So I devised that plan. So that was good. That didn't help us win, though.
No.
Just like any other contest, they have 33% needs to be
style points.
No. Innovative.
Ooh.
Innovation. And you're
Innovator,
like, oh, man.
Cerebrator.
Like 2/3 of it I can calculate and and then there's innovation award. So so we won on that.
That's great.
Because everyone else made a brand new Instagram and a brand new Facebook. And I commandeered the official UNLV Department of Film. You know what I mean? And so
we already have a few followers.
There's already followers. There's already,
Why would you start from scratch and try to ramp up a whole new? they were looking at the same problem. How do we track unique impressions on this particular project? And their solution was to create new social media accounts and start from zero. And your response was to create a new hashtag and track responses to that hashtag outside of the. There you go.
Yeah.
There could be other reasons that you want, but being smarter than the rest
because of all of that, until February 13th at Regal Cinemas across the country, California to Florida, you're gonna see this $15,000 UNLV short film.
Now you've seen it, the final cut.
Oh, I'd seen it. Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it. Obviously, when it launched in April, it was on YouTube.
Yeah,
but seeing it on that big screen,
no doubt.
Oh man, I went and saw Knives Out, and it looked so good.
Yeah,
on
right.
The big screen.
You're like, and not only the pride of ownership of being involved in that and knowing the kids who did. I say kids, they're college students.
Yeah.
Knowing if they knew how old I was, they wouldn't mind. And seeing the students who produced it and knowing what they went through to do it.
And they all did a phenomenal job. And every once in a while when I share, that we got an award or, it's in the screening, people are like, good job. And I'm like, well,
no, you haven't seen
it. I
had
one teeny tiny piece, which,
sure.
For everyone, not just this Coca-Cola thing, that's any film.
Yeah.
It's hundreds of people sometimes.
No doubt.
Like blood, sweat, and tears.
Anyone who's ever waited for the end credit scene has sat there just like, oh my God, who are all these people?
Yeah.
I didn't know there was that many people.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of people that are involved, and not just the animators or the CGI people. Like just you go to a shoot, and if you knew, if anyone watching media knew how much effort was put into every moment.
So you know what I always get? When people see my films, they always say, wow, that looks cinematic. And I'm like, well, because, so what they don't know is that to achieve that, there was about 11 people who had every, the lights,
cameras, lens guy, lighting, focus, sound, multiple sound, live sound and ADR,
standing in the wings,
makeup, costuming, location scouting, script supervising, continuity, fucking the food and water people, craft services,
and so
just
so you know.
Yeah.
That's
and
that's why it makes it hard for me
to take any credit.
No. Well, to take any credit, but to ever rip a filmmaker apart.
Of course. Well, I was going to say a moment ago, even to make, and I'll air quote this, a shitty movie, what a typical consumer would look at and go, oh, continuity errors, or the watch moved, or the voices are weird, or the shots don't match up. A movie with mistakes, a clearly flawed film, even a structurally flawed film, still takes the effort of hundreds, maybe thousands of people across the board, and to get anything onto the screen, whether it's the big screen or the TV or even on the web, to produce anything, somebody had to get up in the morning and put their shoes on and go to work.
I mean, look at this beautiful setup.
Yeah, this took me a minute, about maybe an hour before you got here. It's not that hard, but there's a lot of effort involved, and it's distributed across. I'm sure you've seen. I've mentioned this before. I'm sure you've seen Red Letter Media's content online. The film guys from wherever they're from, Minnesota, wherever, and they talk about, even in the worst case, if they have nothing positive to say about a film, the results. The very least they'll say is this guy, and they'll show a carpenter happy to be working, right? or this person, this woman, is like a costumer, happy to be working, or this girl is carrying lights around, happy to be working, right? So even to make, I don't want to say bad, but even to make anything, no matter how well or poorly received it is by the public, requires the time, effort, energy of just innumerable people.
And another thing, with and I know we're going on.
I meant that to sound positive. I hope it did.
Tangents.
Yeah.
It did sound positive. Okay. And I think that's why. So, it's very easy to get caught up in the business side of things.
Yes. As a filmmaker.
Or I would say as a creative.
As a creative.
As a creative, right? And then doing something you're passionate about, and wearing that on your sleeve and putting it out there.
Well, and you have to every day. You're putting that out there, talking to people.
I think as a sensible filmmaker, you should always take criticism and use it to hone.
Sure.
you don't ever have to agree with it, you know.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Thank you for your input.
2015, we went up to Utah and I shot a Stephen King fan film.
Mm-hmm.
And Stephen King fans know what they like and they know what they don't like.
They like Stephen King. They don't like...
Literally 50% of the internet absolutely adored it. They loved it.
I thought you were going to go with the hated first.
They made it, you know, they couldn't believe, you know, more, like
they got
more good reviews than the Sony one got. Let's just say that.
They were touched
It was
by
the
the
Dark
effort.
Tower series and it was better.
Wow. You got
Idris Elba got worse reviews than I did.
Shit.
Okay. But then the other half of the internet
hated it.
Oh man, they ripped it apart.
Oh. And you want to say, I'd like to see you come out here and do this in the cold.
And that's sort of actually that's a good segue. That was how I became a filmmaker.
Okay.
Because I wasn't.
Let's do it. Let's go there. Let's do it.
I was a marketer.
So many directions we can go. Let's do that.
So
how I became a filmmaker.
Oh yes, I forgot for a second.
You look like you're getting a little dry over there. You need a little
maybe not
liquid memory.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, why not? There's the whole bottle for both of us here.
So the first movie I saw in the theaters.
Yeah.
As a kid.
That's a great question. What was the first movie you saw in a theater?
Return of the Jedi.
Get out of here! Seriously?
It affected me so much. I have an Ewok tattoo. I don't have any I have one Star Wars tattoo. It's an Ewok.
That's great.
I saw that movie and I wanted to make films.
Yeah.
I wanted to make films.
You were struck. You were inspired.
I was inspired. I grew up in LA, and that's an interesting place to grow up.
Sure.
You know, I had kids who were in my 4th grade class whose father worked on the house miniature of the Poltergeist film when the house implodes on itself. Yeah. Lacey's dad did that or whatever, right? And
so I always wondered about being embedded in an industry like that. Does it inspire, or does it sort of what's the opposite of inspire?
I think it depends on your age, right? Because then I grew older, went to Comic-Con, and I was like,
these things are so good. I'm discouraged is the word I was looking for. Yeah. So you knew you wanted to make film from it. How old were you when you saw that?
3. So
3.
No, I'm sorry, 5.
5. Okay, 5. You said that a minute ago. Yeah, you were 5 years old. You saw Return of the Jedi, and you were like, duh. Yes,
amazing.
This is it,
right? So fast forward, graduate college, went to college.
Wait. Let's not fast forward completely. Did you buy like action figures and shoot your own little films?
Didn't shoot a lot of films. At that point, I was.
But you made up stories.
Dude. Yeah. Actually, me and my brother would do a film where we'd say, okay, start the time now, and literally go 2 hours, and when the 2-hour time limit, okay, now the movie's done. Kind of stuff.
Great.
We write stories,
just real time acting out movies in your free time.
2 hours, the movie's done, kind of thing.
See,
and
creativity,
and yeah.
So
fast forward.
Yeah.
Graduate with a bachelor's in sociology, minor in
You didn't
education.
go to film school?
No, not at all. No.
You were like, that's my childhood dream, not my adult
No, I didn't even I thought it was, for others and not for me.
It's not a thing that regular people do.
Yeah. And so
I told you about the helicopters.
It's crazy.
That's fine. Don't mind those.
But
sociology degree.
So then I get married, kids, doing my thing.
Life.
I'm an adult, right? And then we landed a commercial for a casino on the Strip.
Now, who's we and how? How did that even come about? We don't have to get into the deep. We don't
have to get deep into it.
Yeah.
But so when I first moved to Vegas, I started a boutique ad agency because at the time I was a marketer in advertising and sociology. So I studied.
You were using that's what I wanted to know. Connect the dots there. Yeah.
How masses of humans by politics or religion or advertising
pop
are
culture
swayed.
Or whatever. Yeah. How you creating consent. I think with manufacturing consent was the
and that was one leg. That was my academic life, and then the other life. In 1999, me and my wife started a record label, right?
Yeah, whatever. That's just things people do in LA.
Putting out a record. And that came out because I was a musician and Sony wasn't knocking at my door.
Yeah.
So
and you're like, I'll just do it myself.
Wait a minute.
Screw 'em.
It's $3.60 per 7-inch. If I get 1,000 of these,
I can press my own albums.
I sell it for 15. I can do 3 more of the right. And so I was doing the math, and I was doing that, but I needed to market my punk rock 7-inch.
So you started a marketing agency.
They wanted to buy, Jay-Z or whatever it was. How do I get them to buy this one? So I had to market it in a certain way to the right people. Right. I did marketing for my brother's dance studio. In Huntington Beach, he had this dance studio, so we were doing marketing and using YouTube all the way back in like 2003.
Right. So you were a little bit ahead of the curve in terms of using social media. Right.
Yeah. And because again, my degree wasn't business or marketing or film.
So you're making it up as you go, but you're making good choices, it sounds like, and you're driven by things that you care about.
And it might not have always felt like it. So creatives just stick through it, right?
Right.
But So we landed this gig.
Yeah.
And
the casino gig.
The casino gig.
Yeah.
Ended up winning 4 awards at a national award thing for it. Right.
There you go. We'll just submit ourselves for these awards.
Cinematography.
It's great.
Marketing effectiveness.
Yeah.
The commercial dropped in 2011 for this casino.
Yeah.
That was just after Cosmopolitan opened.
Mm-hmm.
That was just after the City Center opened.
Right.
And the number 1 searched casino that year on Kayak
was the one you did the ad
was
for.
The Luxor, dude. That was MGM's redheaded stepchild that they were like
they'd pretty much
siphoning off, not written off, but they go, here you go, here's your video budget.
Yeah.
And you're going to spend it like this.
Yeah.
And here, you know what I mean? It was
they weren't promoting it heavily.
And not because they didn't care
Yeah.
about Luxor or Excalibur or Circus. They were opening City Center.
Yeah. These are not their A-list properties anymore.
City Center was opening and Cosmopolitan is on their block.
Right.
And so we probably would not have gotten it if that wasn't the situation.
Sure.
And it was coming out of the recession. I mean,
the 2008 recession. Yeah.
So when we won those 4 awards, I called my producer, Zeus Amani, and I said, okay.
Call the guys at MGM.
I never thought that I would be a filmmaker.
Sure.
It was always a dream.
Right.
But we won 4 awards for a commissioned TV commercial. Let's do something that I care about, and we're going to win some awards.
Yeah.
And so my directorial debut was a film called The Crystal Crypt, and it's adapted from a public domain Philip K. Dick story.
Cool.
And
there have been a number of Philip K. Dick stories that have turned into major motion pictures that people may not be aware of this writer.
Yeah. And that's actually
I'll let the audience look it up themselves.
That's a perfect way to describe him, because a lot of people have seen Minority Report, Adjustment Bureau, Total Recall. I mean, you've seen did I say Minority Report?
Blade Runner.
Okay, that's all Philip K. Dick.
Philip K. Dick, yeah.
And so this story was a bit older, in his writings.
Sure.
And it was written like a 50s noir mystery kind of, get the bad guy kind of thing, right? So we did have to make some changes, bring it from the 50s to the 2000s. But also sometimes the written word, it works like that in your mind, but visually it's cheesy or it doesn't work or whatever. So spoiler alert, and I'm sorry, but this movie's been out since 2013.
I think you could go for it. We're spoilers from this point forward.
Go watch it.
Go see it.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, if you want to read it, just look up The Crystal Crypt.
Yeah.
it's public domain. You can download it.
And then your
Google.
movie's linked. Was it a feature length or was it a short?
It was a short story, 32 pages,
right?
And we kind of stuck to that and made it a 30-minute short.
That's good. I hate it when people
fucked us in the end because film festivals want that 10-minute sweet spot so they can put 15 different
fucking
and I'm not
movies
talking
on
shit on that. I know you've got slots to fill, but come on.
I mean, I went to I had somebody on recently from the Damn Short Film Festival, Svetlina. And I went.
I love
she's
her.
Wonderful.
She's amazing.
Watch her episode. She's great. And I went to the film festival last year. Just like, film festival sounds so exhausting. And there was like every category had 10, 15 films in it, and they were great. But the ones that ran more than like 5 or 6 minutes, you're just like, get on with it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's no way to slight the filmmakers. It's just okay, I got to watch how many films a day. Exactly. And that's not even to say anything about the people that actually had to watch them to whittle them down to the ones that were included.
Right.
We're close to our 30-minute. We don't have to watch the clock, but let's bring this concept to sort of a so what, so we can take a little break.
Cool.
And then we'll. God, I feel like I'm being really negative today. I didn't mean it that way. The so what of it is like the takeaway. It's not the like, what are you saying? It's like, what's the bring home?
What is the takeaway?
Follow your dreams.
Follow your dreams. Put in 100%.
Yeah.
I mean,
do things you care about.
So going back to the UNLV, that student crew put in 120%.
I believe it.
And you can tell.
I bet you they were psyched just to have the opportunity.
Definitely.
And to be able to learn while doing, and to have like supervision from somebody who knows what they're doing as well. It's like it may be cliche, but like the School of Rock concept. You've got like somebody that comes in and says, we're not just going to like talk about
theory,
frequency and theory, and they're going to pluck a couple of strings. We're going to make a band and we're going to do a show. It's going to be awesome, right? We're going to blow people's minds when the parents come to see how much progress you've made from like playing Twinkle Twinkle to now you're rocking a Zeppelin song, right? So
exactly.
These kids
think
must
about
completely,
so we had. I think we had just under 40 members that were in cast and crew and all of that. All of their parents. How proud are they right now? Right now until February 13th. Right. It's up in every Regal nationwide.
I bet you a few of them are just like, oh Lord, what have we done? We encouraged our kid to become a filmmaker. What have we done?
Yeah. Or this is the high point.
Yeah. Oh no, this is definitely not the high point. If you start there, I mean, once you get a taste of that. It's not the success. It's the power, and I know that is a dicey word to use sometimes, but I'm going to go ahead and use it. The power of creation, of having a vision, a dream, of putting together a team, of finding a shared goal and objective, and making things happen through the work and the time and the commitments and a little bit of investment from the outside. You don't need millions. There's $15,000 and a couple of pieces of equipment. Somebody stepped in and helped you out when you got into a rough spot. But these students did this themselves, and the I can do things. The power that comes with that is priceless.
And again, it's stronger than a mock Coca-Cola presentation that you did for one semester.
Right. It's like if you had a Model UN, but instead of like having a Model UN, your students actually ran for office and won.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're like, oh my God, I'm actually in charge of policy now? What are we going to do? This is the responsibility, yes, but
Although the other day I read this tweet and it said, people are having kids now who were not born when Shrek came out.
On that note, I feel very old. Oh, suddenly I'm so tired. Well,
but that's crazy. That is the world we live in.
I don't even know when Shrek came out. I was surprised.
93.
Oh my God. There's people in public life that were born after the year 2000. It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna close on that. Yeah, we'll pivot on that, and I'm gonna say I'm Alex Martin with Moonshot Audiovisual.
I'm Shahab Zargari, local filmmaker.
There you go, and we are on the riser. We're gonna take a few minutes break, and I don't think we need to freshen our drinks, but stretch our legs and adjust our hats, and we'll be right back. So I used to do these Monday, Wednesday, Friday drops, but now I'm doing them all as one video, so I'm changing the script a little bit.
Nice.
Oh, it's getting busy. A lot of production work. I need some students. Can you help me get some students that can help me do this? We'll gently wade into the topic, which we will talk about in a moment. Hi, I'm Alex Martin with Moonshot Audiovisual.
And I'm Shahab Zargari, local filmmaker.
And we are on the riser. Thank you so much again for joining me. I know you're a busy guy and you got a lot going on. And
thanks for having me, man.
Oh, totally. Seriously. And I have to say, let's go back to this. We met through a mutual friend. who I'm trying to get on the show. I don't want to say her name because she's a little camera shy, but I think she's I think she should do it as a film distributor. Yeah, you tell her.
I'm looking right at her.
You tell her. He's looking at you. She would be great for this, and I always like to have the idea of people.
Well, she has so many amazing things going on.
Yeah, and I just believe that people are inspired by people that are out there putting the time, effort, and energy into it.
I think so too.
And so she introduced us through what was it? A marketing thing? Is something Monday mornings? Something?
Creative Mornings.
Creative Mornings, was that it?
It might have been Creative Mornings.
I'm so bad with. I wish I need an assistant that can keep track of all the stuff I'm supposed to be remembering, because I really starting the timer. I think I miss out on so many really great things in this town because I just don't have the mental capacity to keep them all in my head. And that's what I want to do on this show is invite people to come on and talk about the stuff that they maybe take for granted. Mm-hmm. That maybe they think I don't want to really get into that, or I've talked about it a lot, and people are kind of, people need to know this stuff. They need to know that there's...
That's true. Sometimes you feel they already know, but they don't.
Right. I'm posting every day on social media about my podcast. People are sick of hearing about it. Oh my God. But the reality is that people are inspired by these stories, and we need more positivity in the world.
I think so too.
And I'm just trying to do my part.
Nice.
So just step in there and stop me from talking if I get to a little too ranty. So now I forgot what we were going to talk about. We were going to talk about your
pop culture,
and your show at the. You got a show coming up.
So we have a show coming up.
Let's talk about the show coming up.
So No Cover.
Right.
It's Thursday, February 6th.
This is your band.
So it's our band. So, like I said, in 1999, me and Hila created the record label. And
what's the record label?
It's GC Records.
Yes, I knew that.
GCrecords.com.
Yes.
He knew it.
I knew that. I didn't want you to say it for the audience. Yes.
So, in June, we had a festival, 12-hour festival, 10 bands.
Wow.
And we recorded the entire thing.
That's great. We multi-tracked it for production.
Lavin from Digital Insight Recordings
great.
did one venue, and then John from Naked City Audio did the other venue.
That's great.
We let all the bands listen to the entire thing, and I said,
know John actually.
You do? Yeah, I think funny. You know.
Yeah,
John.
I do. Yeah.
So he recorded one venue, right? And I told the bands, listen to your set and give me the 3 songs that you are least embarrassed about. The ones that you didn't have your voice didn't
the one where it didn't crack, the one where the bass player didn't drop the line, the one where the drummer wasn't drooling out of one side only. Yeah.
So pick the ones that you aren't embarrassed of.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't mind me putting on something somewhere.
And we're going to do an album.
And so on February 6th is the LP release party.
That's
so
great. Where is this going to happen?
At Bunkhouse Saloon.
Oh, I'm going to go.
You got to come. February 6th. We did it the day before First Friday to kick off First Friday. We didn't want to mess up anyone's first Friday. You go do your first Friday.
You go do your thing.
Do your thing, but on Thursday, No Cover, come.
Yeah.
We're gonna have these fancy canvas bags.
Right. All right. I'm gonna make sure this show gets on the air before that,
if you can.
So that you can. Yeah. Whatever. Whatever. My huge audience.
But the vinyl, it's on 180 gram wax.
Wow.
You get 10 tracks, 10 beautiful tracks from that day from all bands. You have a download code. Right. You put that in.
You get the digital version.
27 tracks
from
the
awesome.
day. Yeah.
That's great. How do you come up with these?
I think it's the sociology. I don't know.
What band wouldn't want to go do a show and get seen and get to record and then get up and be on an album, a compilation album with their peers, with the people that they like, that they love to go see.
And again, yes, and that's exactly what band wouldn't. But all of the bands were so, they did it as a celebration.
Yeah.
We were. Like you said, let's keep it on a positive note. Life can be scary and crazy, and sometimes art, whether it's performance art or music or theater, filmmaking, there's a lot of messages there, right?
Sure.
It's what gets us through it. And so, they came. In fact, one of the 10 bands was Toys That Kill from LA, who aren't really on our label.
Right.
We did a couple things with their record label early on. We did our one and only. You know what a picture disc is?
Yeah.
All right, our one and only picture disc.
Right.
So when you do vinyl, black is generally 65 cents a piece.
Right.
You got to get 300 to 1,000, but
this is inside baseball, people. So just make some notes.
60 cents per thing,
per
widget.
Does that include?
Are we talking widgets?
Widgets. Does that include covers and shrink wrapping?
Nope.
No, that's just the pressing.
That's just
not even the stickers on the top.
Nope.
That's
an extra 15 cents.
Just
each.
the vinyl.
Just the vinyl, 65 cents. Color vinyl is 95 cents each.
And you think, well, 95 cents. That's worth it.
A picture disc.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Is $3 each.
And you're starting to think, ooh, $3. Should I give these away or sell them?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. And when I sell them, if I want to recoup it, like realistically,
you're talking what's your $18.25?
And
yeah, because it's not just the cost of the vinyl; it's the sticker, the
shipping,
the paper, the printing, the insertion, the sleeve, the wrapping, the boxing, the delivery. I mean, by the time your cost per unit is, and I hate to be businessy about it, but it gets up there.
It does,
and then trying to sell them costs money.
And we've always been smart about that kind of stuff, where we do pay the 65 cents, and then we do a stuffing party.
There you go.
Some pizza,
have some friends
beer.
over. I'll do a lot of work for a pizza and for some pizza and beer. Let me tell you.
But so it's gonna be nice, and we actually had a lot of pre-orders, so I don't know how many we're gonna have.
Let me just interrupt you. By the way, a stuffing party is when you ask your friends to come over and do work for you for free to load your stuff and
for food,
and for food,
not for free,
for food, and lick and stamp and write, and it can be a lot of fun. Just I've been a party to a few of those. Anyway, so
that's coming up.
Yeah,
February
great.
6th.
February 6th at the Bunkhouse. Right here in fabulous Las Vegas. Airfares are cheap right now. Get on a plane.
My friend in Austin said he just saw a $39 plane ticket. I was like,
that
should just come.
Crazy. At that point, you could just give away plane tickets. No, maybe not. That's one of the reasons I moved to Las Vegas, because I figured getting here and getting out of here would be easy. All my friends from the rest of the country would come.
Where'd you move from?
San Francisco. Originally. I was there for 14 years before this.
Huh.
I can talk about that for a minute. And before that, Austin. I lived in Austin for 7 years. Huh. Great city before it became LA-ified.
What with the high rises?
Oh my God! All the sort of loft living kind of units down by the river. That's still pretty cool, but Katz's is still there. They still do Eeyore's birthday, so
the one and only free tattoo I ever got was in Austin.
You get the free tattoo. Did you do the $13 Friday the 13th?
I've never done those.
I haven't either. Yeah,
I've never done those.
Yeah, okay. Tattoo talk.
I would like to, but is 13 my number?
Is that really something you want to go for? Okay. So at the Bunkhouse, come and check out the show February 6th. Yes. Yeah. Okay, we'll make sure this goes out before that, because it's going to be weird if people will listen to it hopefully after that anyway.
Yeah.
So another topic that I wanted to get into, and there's probably like dozens of things we could talk about, but is and this is something that's been on. It's been something I've been thinking about a lot, and I've been wanting to talk to people, somebody that could speak intelligently or creatively or just seriously about it. Is the idea of pop culture as mythology. There are web channels right now, YouTube channels, that people are talking about this because and I'm going to tread very lightly here. There are pop culture phenomena that are occurring as we record this that are polarizing events, movies, comics, TV shows, things that people. And you mentioned earlier about your version of the Dark Tower thing, where it was very polarizing. It's like when you wade into the public milieu, you run the risk of immediately alienating half the population. It's very it's delicate. And one thing I've heard repeatedly is this idea that people have a moral obligation to respect popular culture that transcends their legal obligation to do what they want with it.
Wait, what do you? Okay,
so let me say that again.
Do one example of that.
Okay, for example.
Yeah.
Let's say that I bought the rights to Calvin and Hobbes.
Right. Okay.
Which Bill Watterson
licensing that
will never sell to anyone, probably. Right. Not even Disney will never get that. No. And I decide, as the legal owner of the Calvin and Hobbes franchise, not only to republish back issues and do omnibuses and whatever, and to but
you're gonna do a new animated series.
I'm gonna update. I'm gonna modernize, right? And I'm gonna put my vision of what I've believed as a lover of Calvin and Hobbes, what I would imagine would be a modern take on this young person and their imaginary friend would be like, right? Now I have a legal right, I should say, to do. I own the rights.
You own it.
I can do whatever I want. I can make merchandise. I can promote. I can do, the Calvin and Hobbes Happy Meal. I can do whatever. I can do it however I want to do it. But there are people who would say that I have a moral obligation to respect the original creator's vision for what these characters are.
And I agree with that, but how do you measure that? Because, right? So let's talk.
And therein,
let's talk Rise
that's
of
where
Skywalker.
it gets serious. Okay. And you gotta go right into it. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I believe in my heart of hearts,
right,
that those thousands of people in the credits,
right,
and J.J. Abrams and Kathleen
all
Kennedy and all those people really thought in their heart of hearts that they were being loyal to the
vision.
Dude, every episode of The Mandalorian, which I love.
I've seen it. I like it too.
Episode 8.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going to get pushback for this. Episode 8 was my favorite.
Can you elucidate what was the storyline?
Mandalorian. Oh, it was the
one where
cliffhanger.
The final one, yeah.
The final
season.
one.
Yeah.
It was so, and the builder lady got attacked, and she was, dude. It was, man, it was so good, right? So that was my favorite episode of TV of 2019. George Lucas was on set for almost the whole taping.
Really? I did not know that. Yeah.
Like when you look at the Mandalorian behind the, just look up Mandalorian behind the scenes on YouTube, you're gonna see like he's in a director's chair sitting there with Dave Filoni and
just
fucking what's his name, the swingers guy?
Favreau.
Dave,
Josh Favreau.
Yeah, he wrote it, right?
Yeah.
So he's still there,
yeah.
And so people, all these people are like, so how do you know how do you know J.J. Abrams didn't? Like, how do you? Where's that litmus test?
That's a very complicated question. I've heard people say, I've heard both camps, and I'm sure there's more than just two. Talk about the idea of ownership, right? Who owns? I'm not even sure I want to get. I'm not even sure I want to get into this. Who owns an IP? Who owns an intellectual property? Who owns a character? Who owns a story? And the idea of canon and what is true for a story and what is not true,
right?
And who decides what is true and not true? You think of Star Trek. What is canon? What is not canon? Are the animated series, is that canon? Are the books that are licensed canon? Mm-hmm. There's fan fiction that some people would consider canon. There's fan movies that have been made, and then there's this whole argument about who gets to decide what is.
Yeah, I don't know, because so again, let's go back to
you can't go to the owner,
right? The Philip K. Dick film, Crystal Crypt.
We can't go to we can't go to Philip Dick and ask him what he would have done, right?
No,
he's gone.
He died before Blade Runner came
out.
But where was I going with that though?
I'm sorry,
No, it's okay. But what were you just saying?
Well, I was saying who owns an intellectual property? Who has the right?
So we did that in 2013.
Yeah,
and all of a sudden, the new Total Recall reboot comes out.
Right.
A bunch of different sci-fi things come out that are loosely based on his novels.
Sure.
And then Amazon puts out this Electric Dreams series. Have you seen this?
I have not seen it, but I should.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's based on it's the Blade Runner concept. The Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Yeah.
So the title is, but not the show.
Right.
The show is episodic, like Twilight Zone. It's like Twilight Zone. It's like Black Mirror. And I always tell my friends, it's exactly like Black Mirror, shot beautifully, like mind bending.
Right.
But every time I watch a Black Mirror, at the end, I feel disgusted by humanity. Whereas with Philip K. Dick, I'm just paranoid.
Oh, it's just paranoid.
I'm just paranoid. I'm like, who's
not
who?
Disgusted. Just I don't know what's going on. Yeah. That was kind of his thing, right?
But so what is canon? And I feel like, I don't know. So one of the episodes of this first season, and they have so many good
of
guests.
Electric Dreams.
Yeah, of Electric Dreams. It's on Amazon Prime TV. But the one Bryan Cranston is in.
Yeah, Cranston from Breaking Bad, right?
From Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
He's in one, and it's called Home something. I can't remember the episode name, but he's in one of the episodes,
right.
third or fourth episode. And I feel in my heart of hearts, when I watch this, even though it's loosely based on a short story that Philip K. Dick wrote completely in a different time of Crystal Crypt, right? Totally different year, whatever. Right. And 300 years earlier, both films say a date.
Yeah.
And it's literally 300 years apart, but I feel like it's in the same universe.
Right.
They use the same, they call Earth Terra.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk about Mars and what we're going to do there and all that. And so it's clear to me that these two stories take place in the same mythology, in the same universe, just 300 years apart.
Right.
But that's not real.
No,
that's my fan fiction idea of
and
it.
there's this idea of headcanon, which is what a viewer of a piece of media, whatever we want to call it, believes to be true about that piece of media. Right. I want to raise two examples. One is The Expanse. And
good show.
And when I love The Expanse, I've watched the show. It's great. I highly recommend it.
You told me you recommended the show.
Did I really?
I think so. Yeah,
that's funny. And I have a friend who read the books first, and so when he watches the show, he compares it to the novels, and I'm like, dude, you can't, And so there's this idea. It's not, shot for shot, character for character. Some characters are moved in and out and added or subtracted from or whatever, combined into one person. So it can't be accurate word for word. I mean, I don't know if you've ever read the Harry Potter series. You couldn't put that on film. There's no way. But it's thematically and emotionally consistent with the story.
But it's also okay not to like it because
sure. Well, you cannot like anything you don't want.
That's why I never watched Walking Dead.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either. I can't say.
The first episode veers from the comics. And I'm like,
you're like,
what?
You lost me.
What?
But there's this other idea that the second thing I wanted to mention was The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, wherein Douglas Adams himself states openly, in this version, the written versus the radio versus the movie versus the serialization of the novelization of the movie version of the radio show, the same characters do different things for the same reason. They do the same thing for different reasons. The different characters do different things for the same reason. It's just let it be. Just let it. Totally. Don't even worry about it.
And you know what? I think that's why I absolutely loved the Spider-Man multiverse animation.
Into the Spider-Verse? I have not seen that yet, but I've heard it's been hugely received.
No.
Okay, I'm going to watch that tonight.
You got to drive to California tomorrow. Watch it this weekend on Venice Beach.
I'll watch it in the car on the way to California.
Dude, no, don't do that.
Don't watch TV as you drive.
Podcast. Yeah.
Listen to podcasts. We're on Spotify. Listen to our podcast as you drive, but don't watch
not
TV.
Movies. No, but you got to, because essentially it said that everybody's right.
I love that idea, and this is the thing
that's so good.
I did come into this.
Everyone can be Spider-Man in every different.
Every version can be,
and I think that's
accurate.
why people are attracted to Rick and Morty.
Yeah,
all the multiverses and all the different Ricks.
They can all work out.
They can all different. Yeah,
you can be a Wasp Rick and have a beautiful family. And be like, wasps or yellow jackets? I can't remember. I like the idea. The idea of canon really kind of grates on me. Yeah. This idea that just because force powers of this didn't exist in these episodes of this film, well, I can't say force powers and not say these and those. Just because you couldn't force heal somebody in the Return of the Jedi doesn't mean you can't do it in The Rise of Skywalker.
Do people not realize that a film is a collection of scenes? It's not chronological.
Yeah, that's true.
We could have totally missed months of Yoda healing people.
We could have been like, these things could have happened. They could have emerged. Now, in the real world, let's get practical for a moment. Filmmakers can only do what they can do. That's why in the first film, where Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi were fighting, they had this idea that lightsabers were wieldy. They were like Zweihanders. They were heavy. It took a lot of power to move them. And then later on, they're like one-handed backflips to double-bladed. Because
and then in the animated one, it's circles that spin around
because they could do more with The technology advanced. This isn't it doesn't have to make sense in world. It can be the whole idea of Star Trek with the ship, and then Discovery. It doesn't look the same as it did in the original series. And people are getting upset about these things. I'm like, just let it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
Well, okay. So thinking about that, how does that weigh into the mythology thing?
And let's come back to that.
Okay, yeah.
I like the idea that people who love a property or a story or characters or they have invested themselves in these mythologies, if you will. I have a friend who's loves the Spock character, right? And she loves Leonard Nimoy and his portrayal of that character, and it really deeply it means a lot to her, right? It's changed her life. It probably saved her life at some point. There's this idea that you can be logical and not emotive and yet still be a good person. I've had that exchange in my own life where somebody's like, well, you're not being expressive. You need to understand me. I'm not like you. Right. I'm different. And this idea that Star Trek portrayed different.
You're a Spock?
Maybe. I'm more of a, I don't know. I'm more of a Data. Yeah. And this idea that Star Trek portrayed people who were not like mainstream, jocks and whatever. I don't know how they want to see it. But, but they saw themselves in these characters, and they were able to express themselves and feel good about who they were. And they connect with those things, and those become their if you will, their gods, their heroes, their mythos, right? And so then to see somebody else come along and change that character in some way that they find offensive, to make Spock emotional and put a beard on him and make him cry in an elevator shaft, makes it kind of cheapens for them their personal experience with that character.
Okay, so let's go back to what you said earlier, and I would tell all those people, then go make your film.
Go make your own film.
You know what? I did forget. I knew I lost my train of thought. So I talked so much. This is how I got into filmmaking. Okay, back to
Please
that.
Please save me from myself.
I blame the whiskey.
I'm digging a hole here I don't think I can get out of.
So I talked so much shit on George Lucas's prequels.
Yeah, everybody did.
Jar Jar.
Jar Jar Binks.
On waiting in line for all that shit.
Everybody hated it. Yeah.
And so after we won those awards on that commercial, I was like, okay, you got to put your money where your mouth is, because could you do better?
Yeah.
We ended up winning 3 awards.
You could do better.
We screened at the 2016 San Diego Comic-Con at the Marriott on the fucking beach.
That's great.
I put my
you put your money where your mouth is.
I said I could make a better Phantom Menace, and I did.
There you go.
And if you don't like that Spock, then you make your own. You don't have to,
I agree with you.
I don't know.
I want to offer a counter idea
be devil's advocate.
to that.
Yeah.
If I go to a restaurant and I'm served a scallop that's poorly cooked, I couldn't cook that scallop better, but I could recognize that this one wasn't done right. So
that's a good point.
I thank you. I think that I love scallops too, which is why it's so central to myself. I think it's okay to have a problem with something, but at the end of the day, I didn't have to eat that scallop. I didn't have to patronize that restaurant.
Exactly. Or again, right? You don't have to go back to that.
Right.
Like Solo.
Yeah.
And I hate going back to Star Wars, but we're talking pop culture.
I enjoyed that movie.
I totally enjoyed it.
I'm going to go with Rich Evans on this one. I liked that movie.
I didn't hate it in any way, shape, or form. I thought it was shot beautifully. I thought the jokes hit. I didn't dislike it at all.
Yeah.
But will I ever see it again?
No.
I don't know.
It's not
Maybe not. And if you hate it, you don't ever have to.
How many times have I watched Blazing Saddles?
Yeah, exactly. But now, every time someone asks me, "Hey, did you like the new Star Wars? Hey, did you like the new Star Wars?" The thing,
and they're asking you, it's almost like a litmus test.
It is.
Are you one of us?
Should I be allowed to? Oh, yeah. Or should I be allowed to? Like this in front of him, kind of thing. And I always say, you realize that for the past 4 or 5 films, it's been Disney, right?
Right.
So when I walk into a Star Wars film, I'm thinking these are the guys that made Hannah Montana and Pete's Dragon.
So you're adjusting your expectations, is what you're telling me.
My expectation is is Hannah Montana,
and these are
and then I have such a blast.
And the irony for me is that the people who are decrying the new series of the Star Wars, the Disney Star Wars, are the people that were taking shits on the prequels,
which was Lucas.
Was totally George Lucas,
exactly.
Which comes back to the idea, and I don't want to circle around this briefly. The idea of creative constraint and the first three, 4, 5, and 6. If you will, A New Hope, Star Wars, which wasn't A New Hope 4 when it first came out. It was just Star Wars.
Right.
Was a product of constraint. You have limited budget, you have limited effects capabilities, you have limited time and effort and support. I mean, nobody wanted to make that film. That was a labor of love for the people who did it. And
I think they did it as a favor because American Graffiti did it well.
And let me make a contextual point. This movie was made concurrently around the same time as Battle Beyond the Stars. And if you watch Battle Beyond the Stars, which I think is a great movie, but it's terrible as well. It's a great movie for B-movie night. And you look at those two movies side by side and think about the cultural impact and that they both had.
And the story structure and the editing and how
and just so you know, just so you can be legitimate about what we're talking about here. George Lucas didn't set out to he didn't come down from the mountain with stone tablets when he made Star Wars. This was a movie. It's a movie, right?
People at that time thought it was just a vehicle to sell toys.
Yeah, just a movie, and they sold it. And we're just going to do this all day. The stormtrooper troop carrier in the last episode of The Mandalorian, that came and they popped the doors open and the troops came out of it. I had that toy. When I was a kid, the troop carrier was like a little device, and they had
I always wanted that one. Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that back. And when I saw that TIE fighter land and the wings fold up, well, I don't know if they're wings. They're like, what are they, solar collectors? I don't even know what they are. But when they folded up and the thing landed, I was like, I didn't know they could do that.
But again,
I liked it.
We could have just not seen any of those ones in any of the films that came before.
But I enjoyed it. And if I could maybe fill in the hole I've been digging for the last 25 minutes, this idea that anyone owns... the people who have the legal right to do whatever they want with the property, yes. The people who have the moral responsibility to adhere to the creator's vision. Okay, I hear what you're saying too. But every story, every utterance, if I can go back to my college training, every utterance that a person creates is going to be read. There's multiple readings by multiple people. Everyone's going to see what they want to see in that thing, whether it's a poem or a song or a movie or a book or a piece of a sculpture or a plating of a food. Every person reads that the way that,
based on their previous experiences and
their
who
expectations,
they are,
their interpretation, their
maybe
biases,
even
their mood at the moment. You can see something and then come back and see it later in a different light. So, who owns these things? We all do.
So, as an artist, I think it's very important to make your money.
Yeah.
Ask for the money, make your money.
Because you can't work unless you got to pay the people, right?
But I'm also a subscriber to every single thing is a remix. Nothing is new. Everything is being built on, everything else. And so I think the fans should own it.
Well,
you own the money. You do what you need to with that.
You know what? Yeah, you buy the ticket or you don't. Yeah. If you don't like what's happening, don't go.
I will buy the ticket.
Hold on to episodes 4, 5, and 6. Stick with the original series. The Klingons were just like mustache twirling villains. You stick. That's still there.
Did you see the Star Wars mashup project I did?
No, I should have done some research.
So this is what I did. Ready?
Yeah. Okay. Tell us about it.
I took the original theatrical trailers, just ripped from YouTube, of A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. And then I spliced them and edited. So it wasn't the trailer as they were delivered, but I took the only footage I used was from the theatrical trailer. Yes. Right? Not TV spot, or I'm sorry, the TV spots. TV spots. And I'm sorry. I'm getting this is whiskey. So the footage is only theatrical trailers.
Yes.
The audio
is from the TV spots.
Is from the TV spots of the 3 new ones.
Okay.
Force Awakens, Last Jedi.
This sounds really interesting. So you recut the trailers for the 4, 5, and 6 using
with uncut audio
of 7,
a
8,
TV
9
spot of 7, 8, 9. So 7 with 4, 8 with and so
that
Empire
sounds really
is
interesting.
Last Jedi.
Well, you've heard of the whole circle theory and the whole this idea that they were all connected in some way, but you figured out a way to make them work, right? I will definitely check that out.
You guys be the judge.
I'll put a
of
link
that.
in the description.
Like
Check it out. We're getting close to the end of our second half hour here. I want to try to here's the thing. I have friends who are super fans of Star Wars. I went to Disneyland. I went to Galaxy's Edge.
Did you? I haven't gone yet.
I had a great time. I bought stuff. I got into it. I have a whole full-on Palpatine costume for Halloween. For May the 4th for this coming year.
Nice.
So
or a short film coming up.
Yeah,
film.
Sure, I can do that. A little makeup. Anything that I say about popular culture, I still can enjoy it. I love The Mandalorian. I'm still a fan. I like the new characters. I've never been that sure about Adam Driver as an actor, but everybody seems to think he's really great. I need to look at some of his other stuff.
He's pretty good. Yeah. I've seen some of his avant-garde. Midnight Special. Have you seen that?
I have not.
Oh, okay. It went under the radar. It has Kirsten Dunst in it.
Okay.
It has some other famous guy. When you see it, you'll be like, oh, that's who he was talking about. But Adam Driver's in it. He's the FBI agent, and they're talking to this kid who speaks with alien. Dude, it's crazy.
Sounds cool.
You got to watch it.
And so at the end of the day, I'm like, can we? Is it just for clicks and likes that people are taking a shit on all this stuff? I mean, if you don't want to watch it, don't watch it.
Yeah, you don't have to watch it.
You can still get uncut, unedited, original versions of the first 4, 5, and 6 through the black market somehow, somewhere. Somebody will give you a copy.
Yeah.
They have VHS tapes you can buy
No,
somewhere.
They're the Hambry editions. You just
they're
look
out
it
there.
up. It's in a torrent.
Nobody's destroying your childhood. Nobody's taking a crap on your just
except for yourself.
And I've seen the videos, I follow the channels, and I respect what people are saying about mythology, but at the end of the day, nobody, just because somebody decided to do this with the thing, and
that was the way I thought about how people talked about Susanna's Lesson or Dark Tower thing. I was like, well, there are these artists who are drawing Darth Vader in a pink bikini.
And people love it.
Is that wrong?
The Darth Vader helmet thing with the Hello Kitty and the whole, people love it when you cosplay your characters and remix them and stuff. I don't know. It just
shows the love.
It does. It shows that these characters are important to us, and take it the direction you want to take it, but don't crap on somebody else for taking it the direction they want to take it.
Yeah.
Just because you didn't get the right to make the next official movie, well, make your own movies. Get your little characters out. Do your own Darth Vader in the commissary with the tray and the penny al arrabata. You're gonna need a tray for that. I don't need a tray. Was it Ricky Gervais that did that?
I think so.
That's hilarious. Make your own movies. Create something and then criticize people who are creative.
Yes, I agree.
Can we end on that?
Yes.
Can we be okay with
Perfect.
that? Fuck. I really feel like I'm going to regret saying some of the things I just said. But all right, we'll move on with it. I am Alex Martin with Moonshot Audiovisual.
And Shahab Zargari, local filmmaker.
Awesome. And I keep saying awesome. And we are going to end on that for now, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
Awesome.
We're going to take a quick thank you. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in a little bit for our third segment.
Cool.
Great. All right. Oh my God, we talked about we're live now, so don't say anything you don't want to hear.
We're live.
We're live now. Hi, I'm Alex Martin with Moonshot Audiovisual.
And I'm Shahab Zargari, local filmmaker.
And we are on the riser. In our previous episode, we had a little perhaps spicy conversation about pop culture's mythology. Whatever, it's fine. And so we're thinking about
rolls off the back.
Yeah, exactly. What are we going to talk about this time?
What should we talk about?
I don't know. Let's cheers. Thank you again. I'm going to just show my appreciation. Thank you for coming on the show,
of course,
and for taking the time out of your very busy schedule. It sounds like. Okay, so let's just start with this. You're a filmmaker. I can't. I'm Italian. I can't put it down. It's part of my culture.
Filmmaker,
father. Can we? Okay, let's come back around to that. Maybe we can talk about being a father. Musician. What else do you do? Marketing person. Do you have a hobby?
My hobby is photography.
Oh, Jesus.
Now here's
you overachiever, you.
So here's
you need to understand this. Yeah.
I never tell anyone I'm a photographer.
All
now,
right.
if they look at my Instagram, they can kind of tell.
But
Instagram is photography and video,
it
right?
Kinda,
so I don't know if they do know or don't know.
What's your subject of choice?
So I do love street art, and I love shooting it in different ways.
Was that your picture that I saw of the graffiti that was painted to look like you were looking through holes in the wall? I saw something on Instagram recently.
I don't know.
It might have been something you posted or something.
But if it wasn't my work. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It was something that somebody posted. Okay, street art.
So I've always shot film, and I still do. And
like actual film.
Oh
my God! You purist, you.
Occasionally, I do. And a lot of people like timer. Start the timer. A lot of people love doing all different kinds of things with photography and how they like to do it and what they like to do. I've never cared about having a dark room. I really just don't give a shit.
So you don't do Photoshop style or dark room like After Effect kind of photography stuff. You just whatever's just capture it.
That's
and
what
that's
it is.
I
Shoot
love
from
that.
the hip kind of thing.
I love that.
But I do like experimenting as well. And one of my favorite types of experimentations is I take slide film.
Okay.
E6 slide film.
I used to shoot on slide film.
And I cross-process. So what a lot of people don't know is that black and white film, color film, they all take different types of chemicals to develop that paper and develop that film.
So you use different processes on different types of...
Right. So I take the E6 film and I process it with C41 chemicals. And...
what happens?
An unintentional, crazy-ass photo. So it's high in saturation.
That's great.
It's just like the colors are bright and vivid and crazy. I went to Venice Beach one year and I took a photo of this building, and I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
And I took a digital photo at the same time. You compare the two.
So you can see what the eye would normally expect to see.
One looks like a regular-ass Venice Beach property. The other one looks like a haunted hotel.
That's cool.
With the sky that looks like a swimming pool. Like, it's just crazy.
Okay, now I've seen people do creative adjustment, and what I was saying a moment ago, Photoshop tricks to like composition things or whatever. I'll get into the details.
Usually when I post something, I put #0 Photoshop.
Yeah, no Photoshop.
Nothing. This is how it came.
And to the idea that you're using a different physical process to get these results, and you don't even know what they're going to be. That's amazing.
Not at all.
I want to introduce you to a friend of mine who does tintypes and glass and glass photography. Using like old techniques, development. Myron Hensel is his name. I'm trying to get him on the show, but he's camera shy. I'll send you a link, and I'll put a link in the description. His work is great, but it's like old style, like back when people didn't smile in photos because
they had to sit still.
Yeah.
If you moved, you're fucked.
I saw there was a photo of a man that smiled. Who smiles in photographs? That's crazy. That's great that you're using your how do I want to say this? You're subverting the
I didn't make it up, by the way.
You're exceeding the manufacturer's recommended.
I'm going against the manufacturer's recommended. In fact,
don't put these in this way. Oh, let's try it. What happens if you do that? Yeah.
The places that I go to develop my film, I can't take cross-process film too often because then it fucks up their chemicals.
Oh, because they
and it'll fuck up everyone else's color photos.
No, you know what? I'm gonna go with this. I like that as a. Are you familiar with Discordianism?
No.
Oh, I've never talked about this online before. There's this concept called a Jake. Okay, and what that is when a J-A-K, like the name, like a man's name, Jake.
Okay.
Where you go in and create a chaotic result without doing any harm or damage, Now, I think somebody who wants to get their negatives developed of their family holiday photos, who gets these
CVS.
sort of like, who gets these, ghostly, artistic results, might consider that you did damage to their original. Yeah, maybe okay. I don't know. Maybe don't do this. But the idea that you're creating chaotic outputs for people who don't expect them. Anyone who's interested in Discordianism can look it up online. I'll put a link in the description. There's this idea of creating chaos in the world in an unexpected but non-destructive way. People think chaos is destructive. It's not. It's unexpected.
It's just, random.
Yeah, randomness. Like, oh my God, what happened? Our photos came back and they're, what are these ghostly things in our? These are, so some of these holiday, postcards might be kind of screwed, but what they got in return was this experience. What happened? So if you're doing these what did you call it?
It's cross-process
film,
yeah.
And you're causing the Johnsons holiday postcard to come out looking like the Johnsons are all spectral entities in some alternate universe. For them, that could be like a mind-altering experience,
Exactly.
And so without intending to do something, you've expanded somebody's world,
hopefully, and again, those are my passions, right? And so
that's
my
just
passion
what I do
projects, that's what I do for fun. That's why I never tell anyone I'm a photographer.
Okay, well, we'll keep that just between me and you.
Oh, my wedding! I'm like,
can you? Oh my God, weddings! Can I
Like,
never? I never want to photograph a wedding.
I can't do it, man.
I have an acquaintance.
If it's a passion thing, I can do it. If it's you and your family, I
have an acquaintance that.
No offense to anybody out there,
right.
But
I know somebody that does wedding photography, and I'm like, how big are the balls on you that you can take pictures of people's weddings? I would be just mortified. I go and do a thing at CES.
I'll do friends' weddings. I will.
I wouldn't. No, I'd be afraid to fuck it up.
I will. Nah.
I would.
I go in going, okay, this means I'm your last resort. And so
I'm not getting paid for this.
Yeah.
I'm doing this for pizza and beer, so you get what you get.
Well, generally the weddings have better food than pizza.
Oh, that's true. You get some salmon or some steak. I can't bear the idea that I'm responsible for a once in a lifetime outcome. I want to be able to go, you know what, it didn't work this time, but next time we'll do it right. Next year at CES, TCL will hire me again, and we'll get their Mandarin version of their web stream right. I'm hopeful. I believe in myself and my future self. I don't believe in my now.
Mess up this time?
Well, I'm not going to say we did. There were some mistakes were made.
Technical difficulties.
But for personal gain, never.
Yeah. But I do love photography.
That's great.
But I also feel film is just an extension of that, because whether you're looking at photography or video,
right,
it's all composition and lighting.
That's true.
The only thing that film adds to that is sound, but then if you make sure that sound, composition, and lighting are everything that you oil to become a fine-tuned machine.
Really what you follow. Yeah, a lot of people forget about sound, the importance of sound in film. We can come back to that in a moment. But yeah, composition and lighting. You can do a lot with color grading. You can change day into night. You can take a brightly lit scene and turn it into a noir film. Yeah, you can do that. But you have to have a vision for what you want to shoot, and you have to light it properly. The difference between creative lighting and just open daylight, it's tremendous. And that's the lighting director, your director of photography, who's selecting lenses and distances and positioning of cameras and all that.
And positioning of lighting.
Right? Yeah.
Like if you were going to do this run and gun documentary style, you'd have a couple lights, getting your subject, that's it. But if it's a cinematic scene, there's $1,500 of lighting pointing at every wall and everything you want to... People don't realize.
They don't. Let me tell you a brief story about my first experience on an actual shoot. It was a commercial for some online investment company. I don't know. And my job was to wrangle the computer. So they hired me to build a reproducible user experience on a computer screen that the on-screen actor could go click, 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 and get the same result every time.
Are you a coder?
I am, yes.
Oh, dude, I never knew that. I've known you for years. That's crazy.
So I built this thing in Macromedia Director, which will tell you how old I am. So that they could reset it, and then on cue, they could I was sitting below the computer. The actor was up here at the camera, and I'm sitting down there, and as the finger goes to the thing, I'm
you had to push the thing?
I was the computer wrangler, right? Because they didn't have touchscreens at the time.
No.
But they were simulating this futuristic version of investment brokering that you could touch and touch and touch. And so, and okay, reset, click, and it resets. Everything goes back to normal. You can't do that with a website. You can't do that with, especially not in 1998. It wasn't possible. So they hired me to be the computer wrangler. I programmed this thing, this reproducible loop. And I'm sitting there on the floor underneath my tech cart with a computer, and I'm clicking and watching. It was shot in the San Francisco Opera House at 2 a.m. with a bank of Klieg lights shining in the window. I don't know what they were, Fresnel lights shining in the window to make it look like daytime. They had 800 people on set with light blockers, curtains, and if you looked right through the camera lens, it looked perfect. But if you stepped 2 degrees to the right, it was 80 people, and somebody's drinking a soda, and somebody's on a phone call.
The Game of Thrones water bottle. Right?
Yeah, it's all the shit. There's a Toyota Prius in the background while there's and it was
exactly.
And it was I was on axis, perfect. Just 1 degree off axis, all the backing shit, all the
wires,
all the exposed shit, And so I've noticed recently that more TV shows are showing more of that background stuff, and I use Shark Tank as an example. The first couple of seasons of Shark Tank, which is a goofy show, but
it looked like it was
fucking
American Idol.
Spot on, on axis is what I'll say. And then later on, they began to realize that people want to see kind of the B-roll behind the scenes stuff. And so there was one episode of Shark Tank where you heard a producer call down at 3, 2, 1, today on Shark Tank, and I was like, did they fuck that up? Was that a mistake?
He kept it in. Yeah,
they left it in, and then later on, you're seeing the people doing their warm up behind the door that opens up. They're psyching themselves up, and then you're looking from a camera angle that's shooting down on the set, and all the wall tops are visible, and the lighting rigging is in this. And I'm like, people want to see how the sausage is made now, and so
which is cool.
I think it's great cool. Because and the point I want to come back to, and I've been talking for a long time, is this idea of media literacy. Media literacy. I can say that. The idea that people should understand what they're consuming. If you go to a restaurant, you want to know what's in the food you're eating.
Yeah.
But most people don't give a crap what's in the content that they're viewing and listening to. And the more people understand what goes into the images that they're consuming, the framing, the shot choices,
I think the more appreciation they'll have.
One, the more appreciation they'll have for what it takes to make it, but also they'll be able to think more critically about what they're seeing.
Yeah.
To me, that's important. I don't know.
I think that, yeah.
Did I just talk for 10 minutes about that?
I don't know.
I think I did.
It was profound, though.
Whatever. All right. Film, hobbies. What else you got? Being a dad.
Being a dad and filmmaking, let's bring this all together here. It was about 1.5 years there where I didn't know what my next passion project was going to be.
Oh, dude,
I was like, is there not one? Am I never going to do anything again? Am I just doing commission work? Is this, and don't get me wrong, at UNLV, working with, the dance department and film and theater.
That's got to be fulfilling.
Dude, it's eye-opening. I see all these young, creative minds doing their thing, but doing something of mine. Right? Where I'm putting the message that I want out there.
Exactly.
Where I'm doing, the stories that I want to spin your wheels and those certain, things. And I didn't know. I had no idea what this next thing was going to be, and I finally figured it out.
And what? Okay, before you tell us what it was, tell us what got you to it.
So I knew,
and I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you again, but I know that there are a lot of people out there that are in that situation. They're sitting there, they're in their living rooms, they're waiting. They've reached maybe the top of their S curve, and they're like, what now? what do I do now? Where do I go from here? I'm playing these gigs. I'm doing this thing. What's my next move? Have I peaked? Am I just doing a job?
I think the answer to that is whatever it is that you want to be doing, continue to do it.
Yeah.
Because this time you're going to do it for free. That time you're going to get paid.
Sure.
This time you're going to get all your friends paid. This time you're going to all do it for food. Right. And so
you got to that point.
But constantly doing, but see, it's not getting to that point. It's circular. You will get back to that point and then do it again, right? So I read this book once about starting an ad agency. Okay. And one of the chapters was called Pro Bono.
Yeah.
And it was basically like, should you do it or should you not do it? And the guy's basic answer was, if you want to do it, you should do it.
And for those who don't know, pro bono means working for free, basically.
Right. So you're doing something for exposure, for free, or
because you care about
it, or whatever.
Or to get a good hookup, or somebody's putting you up for the night in LA and you get to meet somebody from a cool TV show.
Sometimes as filmmakers, you got a 5-day rental package of that $150,000 camera, and you're done in 3 days. Yeah. You got 2 days to use shoot, that shit. You shoot a movie, shoot a whatever, a short, a music, something.
You got that red dragon and all the accoutrements, and it's already paid for. What are you going to do with it? You're going to put it down and go sleep? No.
So in that case, would you say no pro bono? No, you would say yes, right?
Yes, pro bono.
So, basically he was saying, if it makes sense to your business plan, to your strategy, to your whatever, is it building you up? Do it.
So
is it something where you're going to be doing something for a real estate broker and it's not going to go anywhere and it's going to be for free? Maybe, but maybe not. And you have to make that decision. Where was I going with that?
Where were you when you got to the point where you didn't have a vision for what your next passion project was?
I think it was when I was in the business weeds of pushing My Name is Art, which is currently on Prime TV for UK and USA viewers.
Your camera's right here. You can speak to the audience.
But,
and you were like...
The film festival circuit takes a while, and you're spending a lot of money, and you're pushing... you're trying to market your film.
Right. And your passion meter was depleted, and you were like, what am I going to do now?
And so it wasn't depleted in that sense. Okay. I mean, I was stuck, but where I was my Philip K. Dick directorial debut. Right. I can't go backwards.
Right.
I got to one up that, and then one up that, and then one up that. Right. Yeah. So what do I do? And it was, it was bothering me. Like, will I ever have this?
How long?
It was about a year and a half. Yeah. About a year and a half. And I got a little itch in my throat. All of a sudden. I think I'm getting nervous. But I was talking to my friend Jackson, who owned and ran Verbicide magazine out of Vermont, and he was talking about growing up and in high school he had.
You need some more.
I might need some.
You need some more pipe cleaner?
So he was talking about having a friend in high school pass away. And the survivor's guilt. Like, it should have been me.
Oof,
right?
That's hard.
And for the longest time, I had wanted to do like a coming of age story.
Okay.
Right? But how to do it correctly. Because my biggest inspiration...
That's kind of an important concept to attack. Yeah,
I think so. And I think John Hughes did it very well.
Yes.
But one of my main inspirations is Miyazaki in Japan.
Yeah.
Everything he does is so important. It is his message about what he thinks about humans and nature.
Right.
What he thinks about female empowerment and all these things. It's not howdy doody. It's very important stuff.
Well, a lot of Miyazaki's movies are about the native people of Japan that were there before the mainlanders got there. So it's deep and relevant to him, and to
even
the culture.
Nausicaa, it's like thousands of years in the future.
Exactly. But it still has those same sort of deep concepts.
And so I wanted something like that, right? And so he talked about the survivor's guilt, and we kind of fashioned the story together. And my daughter is currently in high school for theater and musical theater. And I've been directing her with our YouTube channels and our Vine episodes since she was little.
You're like
right?
You're like a .com 3.0 dad.
but
right.
I really so that director actor relationship is there, even though
interesting.
And I think she is a fantastic actress.
Now this is the thing she wants to do.
This is what she wants to do, right? And she's a fantastic. She is 16, so she's at the beginning of it. She's still learning. She hasn't learned theory. I think once she's out of college, she'll be.
Yeah.
I mean,
when she goes from
forced to be dealt with.
Right. Yeah.
But for a coming of age story, you need a teenage actress. So number one,
you've got
she
one.
lives in my roofs. I can do as many reshoots.
Let's come on. We got 20 minutes. We got 20 minutes of light left before dinner. Let's do it. Yeah.
But also, I think it'll help her and her.
Of course, it will. I mean, this kind of experience is like. Yeah.
But one of the things that I was thinking going into it was, things like Billie Eilish.
Yeah.
She's this 17-year-old that 30-year-olds don't understand. 40-year-olds don't understand.
Right.
But these 16-year-olds, they get her. The 17-year-olds, they know her. Why?
Right.
Because she's in it. She's there with them, right? So I think she can be there and truthfully, as my daughter, say, well, I don't know if a 16-year-old in 2020 would do that.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Right. Now you bring the experience and the skill and the technical prowess and some vision of your own, but your actor has to speak authentically from her own point of view, from her own heart. So she has to come back to you, and because you have a loving, committed relationship with this person,
she's a teenager, so it's slightly loving.
Yeah, but you're going to listen. You're going to be like, okay, I want you to have your voice.
True collaboration,
right?
I want that to happen
exactly
because my friend Jackson, whose story it spawned from, and myself, the director, we're both men.
Yeah.
We've never been female.
You've never been 16-year-old girls, yes.
Now, Rudy, our screenwriter, was a female, and she will be. And so I feel like with their input and this complete collaboration, it'll be amazing.
This is a thing you're working on now.
Summer 2020 is when shooting will begin. And so hopefully by 2021, we'll be doing the film festival circuit.
Is 2021 going to happen? Are we still... It's not going to.
If the world doesn't burn, but
the world's not going to burn. We're going to be fine.
Australia's burning.
Australia's burning. Yeah, but Australia burned way worse before, and it survived. It'll be fine.
I hope so.
California's burned several times. It'll be fine too. Yeah.
But so then you will see it. You will see it.
That's great.
And I'm so excited because I didn't know if I would hit it. So again, do what you're doing, continue it, and just keep, be patient. And for me, I'm a Scorpio. I'm never patient. I'm so impatient.
Good thing I didn't know that going in. I'm a Gemini.
I'm so
We're going to have to go
dude.
around. There's an idea of like creating the thing that you want to create. Again, and we talked about this in our second segment about pop culture mythology, about controlling the reception of the message. If I can get a little esoteric about it. About a creative person, an artist, a producer, a painter, a sculptor, whatever, wanting to project a message into the mind of the receiver. I remember going to an art presentation at the San Francisco Museum of Fine Art that was done by I'm going to hate myself for not just having this right off the tip of my tongue. The woman that was the Beatles. What's her name? The Japanese woman.
Oh,
everybody.
Yoko Ono?
Yoko Ono, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Who had an art exhibit back in the 60s about the apple, and you put it on the pedestal, and it's like art, and then somebody has to take a bite out of it, right? Well, Yoko Ono did a thing at the San Francisco Museum of Fine Art, and there was an apple on a pedestal, and nobody had taken a bite out of it, so I did. I mean, I contextualized from the original, that's art. It's there's the interaction between the creator and the receiver, and so this idea that an artist controls the message is not that we're way past that. So as a father, as a creative, being able to interact with your your own family, but a person whose artistic vision you respect as well. I think this is where I was going with this. It's complicated, but it's important that you recognize that you aren't in control of this message. You are collaborating with another person.
And that's every film.
It's everything. It's everything.
Actually, it's not every film. It's every film I work on. There are some directors where it's my vision.
Man, fuck your
vision.
Vision. It's not your vision.
It's
you, the DP, the effects directors, the fucking actors, the goddamn the costumers,
everyone.
The set designers, how many decisions are made by that? There's this mythology that Scorsese decides what color the chair is. Have you heard that?
No. So there are Kubrick was like that. And everyone from the
hated
movie
him.
Producers to the actors to the art directors hated him.
All right,
now
be
that
a tyrant.
went to a different level, right? Because dude, literally, like I know he had art directors, but everything going back to composition, everything you see, he placed that shit there. Whereas other directors go, "Yo, this is a bar scene." Go, right?
Yeah. You've heard the bit about where it's supposedly Scorsese's like talking to somebody about the creative process and on set, and somebody runs up and goes, "Mr. Scorsese, should the chair be blue or red?" He goes, "Blue," and the person runs off with a blue chair. And he goes, "I don't give a fuck what color the chair is, but if I don't tell them what to do, they're going to start doing their own thing, And I get that.
And there's differences because I think, I can't remember his name, but the guy who directed Amelie and City of Lost Children and Delicatessen.
I wish I knew his name off the top of my head.
That's another Philip. I can't remember.
I'll put the name in the description.
But
yeah,
every single one of his films, just like
City of Lost Children,
the colors,
a beautiful movie.
Everything you see is exactly what they want.
Well, I'm a Luc Besson fan, and I enjoyed Fifth Element, and I enjoyed Valerian, City of a Thousand Planets, even though I hated the chemistry between the actors. Everybody says that.
Everybody did say that.
Carla Delevingne is.
I didn't care. No. You know why? Because the guy is playing a cop. Every cop I've ever known has been that full of them.
I just didn't like that. He just sounded like
imagine Stallone being like a wimpy guy. Nah, dude. Okay, of course they picked a skinny whatever,
he sounded too much like
he's a Galaxy Police guy.
Yeah, he sounded too much like the guy from Bill S. Preston Esquire, Ted the
Bill and Ted.
Bill and Ted. You sound like Jesus, it's too late today. I just this idea that
whoa, donuts.
Right. There's as a creative, you do put your image onto the screen, but you cannot ever forget Jesus.
Well, I think things come out better when it is a true collaboration.
Thank you. The collaboration of all the other people that are on the set, all the people that are involved in that, the costumers,
I think of the authenticity that lends to it.
Yes, and if it's better if you all share a vision. If you've had a pre-production meeting and you're all like, okay, this is what we want to do. This is the message. This is what we're talking about. And everybody's like, I love that. Let's do this. This is my ideas. Here's my ideas. Let's all contribute something and we'll build something that's better than any one of us could do on our own. And when you have that one person, there are the few auteurs, the Terry Gilliams of the world. Who did you mention just now?
Kubrick,
the Kubricks, the Gilliams, who have this this one vision of how things are got to be, and everybody's got to fall in line or fuck off. Okay, I'm not a big fan of the great man theory. I believe it takes.
I wish I had that kind of discipline.
Well, I wouldn't want to be on a set
want that
and say no, you're wrong. This is the vision.
Totally.
I want to be, and I've done shoots where I'm like, I like what you're bringing. I like the energy you got. Let's do that.
And if you don't like it, if you're directing or whatever, just I like it, but let's try this.
Let's put a pin in that, and we'll come back to it later.
Yeah. Let's just compromise. Although I do remember one time, and I'm not going to say what shoot it was, but this actress had to be surprised and scared, and I kept saying, all right, scared, you're nervous,
Yeah, that's not good enough.
Not.
It wasn't happening. So you had to scare her.
It was like a long. No, I didn't get what I wanted.
They say,
used what I got.
Oh, dude.
Oops.
You're good. Okay, okay, we're getting close to the end of our time, but we're going to go over a little bit. They talk about the Suicide Squad movie, where Jared Leto went on the set and terrorized the other actors. And this is method acting taken to an extreme. Sent them dead animals, like was in character all the time, like pranked people, fucked with them, got them on edge so that whenever he would appear in a scene, they would react. They would legitimately be afraid of him because he had been terrorizing them the whole time. And I'm like, okay, how far are you going to go for a bit? And then Joaquin Phoenix comes on and does the Joker and
kills it.
For millions of people, for like a zero budget, So, do you really need to project like that? Maybe there's things you can do when you're in a production environment. You need to inspire your people.
Did you watch the Jim Carrey thing?
No,
where he did Andy Kaufman.
Okay. But you just brought up Jim Carrey and Andy Kaufman in the same sentence. I can't go there.
Well, so he did that movie, right?
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about?
Man on the Moon.
Man on the Moon.
Yeah.
So Netflix did a documentary
about the movie,
about him doing the movie.
Oh shit, I haven't seen that. No.
Oh, dude, he pissed everyone off. Well, same shit.
Kaufman really challenged people.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know Andy Kaufman, just look up any Andy Kaufman bits. Yeah.
And he was method acting, dude. Jim Carrey method acted not as Andy Kaufman, but as Andy Kaufman being a dick.
Right.
The entire time.
Pissing people off, being a schmuck on the set, upsetting everybody, being a diva, pissing people off, throwing shit around.
Which, when you know Jim Carrey, he's not that person.
No, but he was doing it for the role because that's what Andy Kaufman was. He was I don't even know how to.
But where are we going with this?
I don't know where we're going with it. I'm trying to bring it back around to this idea of ownership of a character, right? Of the negotiation between the creative and the receiver, right? We've been talking about you as a producer, as a father, being a director for your daughter, and negotiating with her the role, the character, with the idea of the people who are going to see what she's doing. And I think there's this. We're all in this together. I'm trying to find a resolution for this that works in the next 5 minutes. We're all in this together. Creative people want to challenge us. You are a creative person. I'd like to think I am too.
Should challenge everyone.
And some of the audience is going to be on board with it. Oh my God, I love what you did. I'm right now. I'm thinking of Ready Player One with the reproduction of the Shining. I love that scene where
Me
they
too. How the hell did they do that?
80% of that movie was like, but that one sequence where they did like the reproduction of, the signing of the hotel they were in, stunning.
Yeah. Did you read the book?
Deeply, I did not.
Dude, the book is
very different.
So good.
It's very different from the movie.
I mean, yeah, it's different. I think they're two totally different. I look at them as two separate things. I like them both for their own.
And that's the point.
But the book is so good.
To be able to,
there was no Shining part in it.
Yeah, no, I know.
There was a whole Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Right,
shit
there was no
there.
Racing thing in it. The idea that anyone can say this is wrong in the creative sphere. This is not canon.
I think it's people who've just never made movies, dude.
And I guess that's what I really want to get to. There's no this is wrong. Somebody created
it's
it. If
that
you don't,
guy's version.
If you don't like it, don't like it. That's fine.
If you don't
say
like
you don't like it.
Make your version.
But criticize it. Fine. I'm fine with that.
Bankroll my $5 million version of your
Show me how to do it right.
Yeah.
But I love the idea that there are people out there that are taking these concepts and making them their own. And it's one of the beautiful things. But you mentioned earlier, Rick and Morty. This is Rick and Morty. For those of you who don't know, is there anyone who doesn't know this?
Speaking of pop culture,
is an adaptation of a Doc and Marty short that was made as a sort of a dirty response to the Back to the Future
trilogy.
Yeah. Which and all
like
these,
it was a R no, like a NC.
It was very dark. Something about my a lot about actually, and a lot of the comedy that was in that short piece is in the final version, and there is no straight line connection between this to this to this. Culture is created by people who get up in the morning and put their fucking pants on one leg at a time.
Give a shit. And usually it's like
care about stuff.
Yeah, exactly. They care about it.
And they put the time, effort, and energy into it. And you can receive it how you want it. If you don't like it, that's fine. If you like it, that's great. If you want to do it better. Get up in the morning and put your pants on and go out there and fucking make something. That's what I want to say.
Outdo the person that you thought didn't do it well.
Okay, J.J. Abrams is no better or worse than any of us. You can denigrate the guy. You can talk smack about him. You can call him Jar Jar.
Okay, let's just pause real quick. Okay. He just had a whole bunch of connections. Do you know what his job was in college?
I don't.
Okay. So and this might be legend, but I don't I don't think so.
Here comes an apocryphal story about J.J. Abrams.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
He answered an ad in the paper of somebody that was like, hey, I've got all this 16 millimeter footage. I really don't feel like transferring it to this new DVD shit.
Right.
I need you to do, I mean, it wasn't DVD, but whatever it was, like digitizing it, right? I need someone to fucking be a lackey and do this and digitize it. And guess whose fucking house he went to digitize that shit?
George Lucas.
No, Steven Spielberg. The other guy.
Spielberg and Lucas, one of the two.
Yeah, they look the same. Dude, so he did all of Steven Spielberg's
He just answered
work.
a fucking thing and showed up.
Guess who's good? But that's the other thing about film. Do the pro bono shit, because you never know. The producer or the editor or the whatever might be the next Steven Spielberg. And if they know you're loyal, and if they know you're on time,
you're committed.
if they know you're committed,
you care.
They're gonna hire you. And when they become the next Steven Spielberg and they're on their
you
third
can take a shit
Indiana
on them.
Jones,
yeah.
You know.
Tomorrow I'm going to LA to do a thing that most people would have said fuck that. And I'm going because I care about marine mammals. Because I'm a scuba diver and I've swum with swam. It's all
the same.
It's all the same. with sea lions and whatever.
Wait, so what is it again?
Okay, it's the Marine Mammal Care Center in San Bernardino, California, and they take in sea lions that have been fishing nets and plastic things, and they 7 or 8 of them a day, and they help them out. They nurse them back to health, and they reintroduce them to the wild. And it's a great, as a scuba diver, it's a thing that I'm close to because I've been to the Channel Islands in Catalina, and I've swum with the sea lion pups, and it's something I care about. And a friend of mine connected me with them. And I'm going to go do it.
That's so cool.
Who knows? Something might come of it.
And it
might not. It doesn't matter. But it's something I care about.
If it's what you care about, do it.
So go out.
Yes.
Go out. If we can end on this, we are a little bit over our time, but that's fine. That's right.
Sorry.
Go. If I may say this, go out. Do the things you care about. Don't worry about how you're going to get compensated for it. I mean, yeah, your time is valuable, sure, but
you should care about that.
Yeah.
But if there isn't compensation,
it's not the end
weigh
of the world.
it. Yeah. And if it's in your best interest, if it's what you care about, do it.
Yeah. Create, contribute, offer something up, create value for the world. And I think value will come back to you, and it will inspire other people. You've clearly inspired a lot of people.
I hope so. I
think you have. I think a lot of UNLV film students would say you have.
I'm gonna cry.
Is there a word you want to end on?
Can I end on a hashtag?
You can end on anything you want.
So if you would like to follow along with this film that I'm going to shoot with my daughter,
yes, I think I would like to.
Hashtag Oh the Guilt Film.
Oh the Guilt, GUILT film.
So the film will be called Oh the Guilt.
Oh the Guilt,
and it's it comes from the song title of a Nirvana song called Oh the Guilt.
All right. we will end on that.
Oh, the Guilt Film #.
All right. Well, thank you. Thanks
for having me.
I am Alex Martin with the Moonshot Audiovisual.
And I'm Shahab Zargari, local filmmaker.
Thank you so much for sitting down with me.
Yeah, of course.
I want to have you back after this film comes out. And
that would be awesome.
That would be great. I want to hear the experience of like sort of shepherding
how
young
it went
people
from here to there.
Yeah, totally. All right.
Cool.
All right. Well, thanks.
Awesome.
Cheers.
Cheers, dude.
Get out there, do something. And we are